What up, sports fans? I'm Paulo Camacho, and this is the Macho Sports Report, where I talk to you about the sports stories that matter to me, hopefully matter to you. Brand new logos, brand new arena, and now a brand new head coach. Say hello to the brand new Sacramento Kings. Sort of. And say hello to their recently inked addition, former Memphis Grizzlies head coach, Dave Joerger. The Kings had been in head coaching limbo for more than a month since firing incumbent head coach Joerger. And after what looked more like an early episode of The Bachelor than an actual coaching search, it seems like Sacramento stumbled upon their man in Joerger. He signed a 4-year deal worth $16 million on Monday and looks eager to help the Kings break away from their perpetual dumpster fire image. Now, before you utter the word who? Which admittedly I did when I heard the rumors that they were zeroing in on him. Let's do a quick rundown on the Kings' new king. The guy's only 42 years old, but he's been coaching for most of his adult life. He started as an assistant for the Dakota Wizards of the IBA in 1997. He got the promotion to head coach of the Wizards in 2000 and coached there for 5 years. In that time, he helped the team win an IBA championship in 2001. When the Wizards made the jump to the CBA in 2002, no one believed the lower-tier Wizards would make much noise in a superior league. And how did Coach Joerger respond? 2 CBA titles in 3 years. He jumped around the developmental leagues for a few years until he found himself back with the Wizards, who made another jump into the NBDL in 2007. And naturally, in his first season with the D-League, he helped the Wizards win the NBDL championship because of course he did. Joerger was hired under the Memphis Grizzlies staff as an assistant in 2007 and was promoted to main assistant under then head coach Lionel Hollins in 2011, where he was given free rein to work on the team's defense. From the 24th ranked defensive team in 2010, Joerger transformed the Grizzlies into a top 10 defensive team starting in 2011, and into the second most efficient defense in 2013. Hey, what do you know? A guy who is actually committed to teaching defense. And you wonder why the Kings wanted this guy so badly. This isn't even getting into his impressive run as head coach of the Grizzlies starting in 2013, where Joerger reached the playoffs in all 3 seasons at the helm. None more impressive than this past season, where Joerger was hit with injury after injury after injury to key players. He lost all-star center Marc Gasol in February to a broken foot, lost guard Mike Conley to an Achilles strain in March, and only had backup center Brendan Wright for a total of 12 games this season. On top of all that, Joerger was forced to employ an unfathomable 28 players throughout the season, essentially using duct tape and super glue to keep the team together. Despite the ridiculous adversity, the Grizzlies still finished with the 7th seed in the playoffs and a 42-40 record. Now, after front office politics essentially got Joerger fired from an albeit successful stint in Memphis, sound familiar, San Francisco 49ers fans? Joerger became one of the hottest coaching commodities on the market. To the Kings' credit, they swooped in immediately. Obviously, it helped both parties' chances of a quick marriage on account of 1. They showed mutual interest in each other during the regular season, something that many believed was the straw that broke the camel's back at Memphis. 2. The Kings' renewed value in a defensive-minded coach. And 3. The fact that Joerger is made a winner of just about every place he's coached. You bet that looks attractive to a team that hasn't made the playoffs in 11 years and counting. But hey, I can understand the naysayers of this hire, because Lord knows Kings fans tend to hear it from the national media every freaking time they make any kind of news. I'm looking at you, Amin Al-Hassan. The front office doesn't know what it's doing. Even though, they made a heavily praised move with the Joerger hire. They're likely to fire Joerger if things don't look good after, 20 games. Like they did with Mike Malone in 2014, because, hey, God forbid they actually learn from their past mistakes. Their front office of Vlade Divac and Peja Stojakovic don't have any experience. Right, and the recent hiring of new assistant GM Kem Catanella is totally inconsequential. The Kings roster is an incoherent mess that doesn't know what direction is going. Right, because Joerger didn't basically have that same problem this past season in Memphis. And hey, good luck dealing with perennial hothead DeMarcus Cousins, as if he didn't have to deal with guys like Zach Randolph and Tony Allen, themselves infamous hotheads. Can you tell I'm sick of the Kings being drugged through the mud? Now, admittedly, the organization is going to have to do some changing of their own. The front office, owner Vivek Ranadive especially, has to stay out of Joerger's way and trust his process of using Cousins at an optimum level while not going 150 miles an hour on offense. The roster, especially Cousins, has to buy into Joerger's winning ways and give every ounce of effort they possibly can on both sides of the floor. It's what made Memphis such a relatively successful team under Joerger. They have to believe in him just as much as Joerger believes he can turn things around in Sacktown. If Cousins can nurture a relationship with Joerger, like the one he fostered with Mike Malone, these Kings might have a real shot of being a decent team and maybe, just maybe, a playoff contender. Personally, I think they got the right guy to get this turnaround started. I mean, fingers crossed, of course. Anyway, I turn the debate to you. What do you think about the Sacramento Kings hiring Dave Joerger? Considering his track record, do you think he can turn the Kings around? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm Paulo Camacho, and this has been the Macho Sports Report. Peace out, sports fans!